Alright, here it is. This is one I've been waiting for a long time. It's the new Commissioner Gordon and GCP SWAT. So this is a Brave and the Bold release. Came out in January, I believe. Again, sort of the new packaging. It looks fancier. Not much to say about that, so let's just crack right into it. Again, we have the new style cards, which we'll go over in a minute. Put those aside. Inside the package, this sort of flips up, and we got all of our models. Now, one of the things that Night Models have changed with, I guess, all the releases of the second edition is all the crews, I believe, yeah, all of them, have been color-coded. So Brave and the Bold models come in this sort of blue, weird resin look. But other than that, you know, it's still like the models. Let's get this guy centered. Again, I am really liking the new resin detail. You can see all my messed up fingers. Hard to pick up on camera just because the color sort of hides all the detail. Maybe not so bad. How do we get this centered here? So I think this is the shield guy. Here's a shield piece. You got the police right on the shield, so that's kind of a nice touch. And that goes in. I got a bit of warping on it. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick that up. But the nice thing about resin, it's easy to fix any sort of warping. Just run it under hot water for a few seconds, and then you can just sort of slowly, gently melt it back. Who's this one? This is probably the taser guy. Again, not too bad on the mold lines. There's a bit of the camera's not even showing it. There is a bit of a mold line sort of down his arm. The side, yeah, it's a little more pronounced. But easy to clean up. Way easier than cleaning up with like a metal model for sure. Still not much flash. I noticed this on the Joker crew as well. There wasn't a lot of flash on the model itself. Here's the gun for Larita. Who's right here? He's got a cool backpack. This would be a nice addition to any Brave and the Bold player, or for me who likes to run just like pure cops. There it is. There's Gordo with his badge up and his arms in one of those sprues. Again, very nice sculpts, very detailed. Bit of flash there on his cape thing, and by cape I mean sweet ass trench coat. So yeah, that's them. Not much to say. Again, release these shit fucking bases, so they're going in the garbage. I'll get regular bases for that. And that's what you get in the box. So I guess with that, let's check out the cards. Alright, so the first guy we're going to look at is Foxtrot. He's a henchman level character for Brave and the Bold, obviously. He's Reputation 32 and 200 funding. His stats are basically the same for all SWAT team guys. So he's Willpower 5, Strength 5+, Movement 3, which is really nice. These guys are quick on the field. Attack 3, so about average for a henchman level guy. Defense 3, same. And Endurance 5. He comes equipped with a shield, which is nice. So it's a protecting weapon. It gives him a 4-up ping in against shooting. It gives him a bonus to defense rolls. And he can provide his ping to a model in base contact, which is really nice. Sort of a replacement for the old SWAT guy Delta in that regard. Being able to be just that much more defensible against shooting, especially once you look at his traits. So he has Veteran, so he's able to rearrange 2 of his not willpower, but action counters when he activates. So it gives him a little bit of flexibility. If something maybe your opponent does sets you off, you're able to at least react a little bit. He has Bulletproof Vest, which pairs very nicely with the protecting, or the shield. So that makes all firearm attacks against him have to wound on a 4 as opposed to a 2, which makes this guy really resilient against shooting attacks. He has the charge rule, which is nice. So he's able to make charge attacks. He has elite SWAT, so unless you have someone with boss SWAT, you can only take ever one SWAT guy. He has street guys, so he can crouch for free, and he has the cop rule, which helps him a bit against like organized crime and shit like that. Now his flash grenades, which I didn't actually go over, is a throwing weapon. It's mechanical, so it wounds on a 3+. It's explosive, so it sets off a big template. It's a grenade, so you could use it to. You don't actually you don't have to aim directly at a target. You can throw them sort of at an area and try to get people off. It's only short range though, so 20 centimeter range on that, which isn't too bad, especially given how fast he is with his movement 3, and it provides the flash rule, so models hit by it are stunned. He has 2 of these and rate of fire once, so you're gonna throw one at a time. I don't know, I've ran a few games with this guy and I wasn't overly impressed. I mean, that might be just due to my playstyle where I'm usually going for like kills and stuff like that, so this guy just wasn't enough of he wasn't putting up enough damage to really help out. The flash grenades are cool, but I find them more situational on when you'd really want to use them. And stuff that you would want to use them on is usually like kind of far away, so you have to get really close to like use them effectively. And when you're moving them up like that, it sort of telegraphs what you plan to do, so your opponent is able to react. Although he does have a decent stat line, so I can see him being a fairly solid objective holder. Although at the same time, I kind of would rather Delta in that regard. Delta basically has the same stat line, bulletproof vest, shield, but he has a pistol as well. So I don't know, if I had to pick between the two, I'd probably pick Delta over this guy. Not that he's that terrible, it's just he doesn't do really what I want him to. So I guess that's it for him. Let's check out the next dude. Alright, so the next guy is Lorita. He is also a henchman for the Brave and the Bold. Comes in at 36 reputation, funding $450, so he is a little bit on the pricey side. He has basically the exact same stat line as all the other SWAT guys. For weapons, he has the custom SMG, so it's a 2 blood, rate of fire 3, with 2 shots weapon. It's medium range, so 40 centimeters. It's a firearm. Assault 2, which is nice, so if he does move, he still gets 2 shots as opposed to dropping down to 1. And he has the red dot. So red dot just illuminates whatever his target is, which is kind of helpful as well. For traits, he has expert marksman. So models suffer a -1 to their ping rolls when he shoots at them. He has a bulletproof vest, so he's more resilient against shooting. He has the cop trait, so if he does shoot, like, the only thing he's going to do is probably shoot. I don't think he's going to be punching too much. He'll get a +1 against models with the criminal trait. And like all the other SWAT guys, he has the elite rule SWAT. So this guy, I actually really like him. I'm not very good at lining up shots before my models activate, like a turn in advance. So being able to move and shoot at the same time with at least rate of fire 2 is pretty handy, especially given how fast this dude is. Like, if you pump everything into movement, he moves 10 inches, which is pretty fast for, you know, just henchman level dudes. And being able to shoot like the 2 shots, like I said, is really handy. Also, the expert marksman helps with sort of that role, being able to negate pings, so even if you don't make it as far as you need to like just get around whatever the object that your target is gonna get a ping from, he is gonna at least give them a -1 to that roll. I use this guy actually almost in all my new Brave and the Bold crews now, because he's so fast and he's able to put out a good amount of damage, and on those turns where he is able to just use his full rate of fire 3, you know, he's putting out 6 blood, potentially 6 blood and a stun. If he gets that crit off, it's super nice. And when I do run this guy, I usually give him the whistle, so he's able to sort of move up, whistle his target, and then just unload his shots into him. So whistle will give them that bonus to hit, because it drops the defense of the target, and if it is like an acrobat or something, they aren't able to use dodge rule for that. So yeah, I really like this guy. I think he's solid. You might have some hard time fitting him into like certain builds because of just how much his funding is. But this is one of the guys that I try to make sure I have room for in my crew. I just really like this guy. So with that, let's check out the next guy. Alright, so the next guy is Sierra. He is another henchman for the Brave and the Bold crew. He is reputation 30, 0 funding. He has the same stat line as all the other SWAT dudes, except he has 1 more endurance at endurance 6. So he's a little bit tougher than the other guys. He's equipped with the taser, which is really good. It's a really good weapon, so it does 2 stun. It's mechanical, so it wounds on a 3+. It has the reach rules, so you can attack models 2 inches away. And it has crit shock, so if he does get that crit off, the model he is attacking is stunned. He's equipped with a bulletproof vest, so he's more resilient against shooting. He has the cop rule, so against those criminals he does just a little bit better. Elite SWAT as usual. He's a veteran, so you know, if you do need to change the way he's set up when you activate him, you can change 2 of his action counters around. And he has the hardened rule, which makes him even that much more resilient. So, and every turn, the first damage he takes in blood, he can change one of those tokens into stun instead. This guy, I really like him too. He kind of seems like he's a replacement for Agent O'Connell, who has a lot of the same rules as him, but is a bit better. And this guy is actually cheaper than O'Connell, which is weird, even though Sierra has some more rules. I actually like running these two together, so both models, and just having a really solid close combat component to my Brave and the Bold crews. I usually run like gun lines, but I'm able to fit both Sierra and O'Connell in there, and it just provides some added support for when my opponents get into like my shooters. Also, having that reach is really nice, so he's able to sort of not get in base contact with stuff and still be able to do the damage. As well with the movement 3, like on all these SWAT guys, they're really quick, so he can scoot up the board pretty fast and start attacking people if that's the way you want to go with this guy. Really not much to say about him. He's just a super solid like beater. Attack 3 can let him down if your opponent has put a lot of stuff in defense, but hopefully you can mitigate that at least with some proper activation of models for you, and sort of get someone else to go in and try to shed those defense counters off of your opponent before Sierra comes in with his taser. This guy I've actually ran with Loeb a lot, and I really like it. Loeb has a Inspire for being a leader, but he also has a kill them rule, so I can actually get like this guy and O'Connell up to 5 attack counters with their taser, which is pretty crazy once you're rolling all that damage. As it is though, he is able to put out 6 stuns a turn if all of his attacks go in and go through. So another really solid henchman, and really not that expensive in the funding, so I think you're going to see this guy in a lot of crews as well. With that, I guess we'll see the big daddy of this box set, which is the new Commissioner Gordon. So last up, but not least for sure, is Mr. James Gordon himself. So he's a leader for the Brave and the Bold crew. He comes in at 70 reputation and 0 funding. He's equipped with an automatic gun that does a blood and a stead damage apiece. Has 3 shots. He has 2 bullets. Short range, so only 20 centimeters, but that's not too bad. It's a firearm, so it wounds on a 2+ normally, and it's light, so he's able to shoot it in base-to-base contact with another enemy model. He has a Commissioner rule, so all friendly models within, I think, 8 inches of him get to arrest on a movement. He has a bulletproof vest, so incoming shots against him need to roll a 4 or better to wound him. He is also a veteran like the other SWAT guys, so he's able to rearrange 2 of his counters. When he activates, he has affinity for Batman. So, if Batman is the leader of the crew, he's able to be taken as a free agent. He has air support, so what that does is you spend 2 special, I believe, and it drops a explosion template somewhere on the table that you pick, and everything under that template is illuminated. He has the arrest rule, so he can take out knocked out models with a move and a special and make them casualties. He has the cop, so he does have that bonus to against organized crime, or sorry, criminal models. He has detective, so he is able to cancel one of your opponent's pings, or not pings, passes, and he is able to roll extra on riddles. He has lead boss SWAT, so if he is taken in the crew, you're able to take more than just one SWAT member. He has hidden sniper, which is really nice, so that's, I think, a new ability for 2nd edition, or just came out at the tail end of 1st. You spend 2 attack counters, and you can shoot a model that's within a foot of the board edge with a rate of fire 2-shot that does 2 blood apiece. And finally, he has take cover, so you can spend a special to give a free defense counter or marker to friendly henchmen within, I believe, 8 inches as well. That actually kind of pairs really nice with his inherent leader ability, which is Inspire, so you can actually give out 2 counters a turn to friendly henchmen around you. And if you stack it all in defense, you can make your guys have a lot of stuff to use to try to cancel incoming attacks. Now, he is only willpower 6, so he has a lot of things he can do, but you sort of have to pick which things you want to do. Just because he has such a low power, he can't do everything himself. Strength 5+, not that great in close combat, but being able to shoot his pistol in base to base really helps with that, and just a way better option than trying to make Old Man Gordon punch people. He's only movement 2, so he's not as fast as like the SWAT guys, so he can get sort of left behind, but we'll talk about that in a minute. He's attack 3, so kind of average. Defense 3, not that great. Special 3, that's the same for almost everybody, and endurance 6, so he's not the toughest of leaders. He does have some defensive abilities with his like bulletproof vest, but you kind of want to keep Gordon out of combat, especially against like the really big beat stick guys, like, I don't know, say Deathstroke or Batman, because he's gonna go down pretty damn fast. Now, he does have one upgrade thing he can take from the Batman list. If he's in your crew, you can take an upgrade for him called Helipad, and that makes his air support also have a rate of fire 1 2 blood shot for anything under the template. So it's 150 reps, so most people are going to probably want to take that, and he's able to use both the air support and hidden sniper at the same time. So what you usually do is drop the air support on your target, you shoot them with that, and then now that they're illuminated and you can see them, then you use hidden sniper against that model as well. That's a potential of 6 blood, and those 2 abilities together are pretty strong, especially being able to just shoot all the way across the board against a model, and potentially putting 6 blood on them even first turn is kind of devastating, and it really makes Gordon sort of like an artillery piece in your crew. Gordon's not going to be wanting to get into the action too much. Maybe like later game when things have moved up sort of like the middle of the board, depending on the scenario, of course. Then he can probably help out with like his inspires and take cover, but for the most part you want Gordon safely at the back of wherever your battle line is, and using the combination of those 2 abilities to just put a shit ton of damage out all over the place. And the thing I didn't mention about those 2 abilities as well is that they ignore pings, so unless they're an acrobat, they don't really have that much they can do to get away from this. Obviously it won't do as well against models with bulletproof vests, but at the same time this is already strong, especially on a 70-point model. Do I think it's broken? Not really. I know a lot of people think that maybe Gordon is too powerful what you get, but to be honest, like if you get close enough to him with even just regular henchmen, he's pretty easy to put down. He's only defense 3 with that 6 endurance, so you know, the second he's in close combat, it's basically game over for Gordon. Now that's probably easier said than done, especially with just the wider array of models you can take in a Brave and the Bold crew. You know, the Gordon player would have messed up pretty bad if someone's getting to him to begin with, but you know, it is a possibility. Other than that, I really like this guy. He's definitely a big step up from the old Gordon. And I'm probably going to be using him quite a bit, just because I like using my cop crew to begin with. But yeah, really excited to see this and see a nice sculpted new model with, you know, at least relevant rules. Before, the old Gordon wasn't really worth taking at all, so now, you know, this guy's a solid choice leader for the Brave and the Bold crew. Not too much else to say about him, so let's just check out what I did with my paint jobs. Alright, so here's what I did with my paint job. I basically just followed the Knight model's scheme as best as possible. The only main things I did of note was with Gordon, I gave him white hair as opposed to sort of red. That's sort of a bit of an homage to the animated series where Gordon's a little bit older, and I already painted my other Gordon with the orange hair, so it was I figured since this guy's a step up, it's the older version of him. So yeah, just a little stupid thing like that. With the cops, nothing really major about them, just sort of black and blue. Although I couldn't figure out the recipe I did with all my other Law stuff, so they're slightly different and I couldn't match it, so it's not too noticeable really, but I know, so it kind of bugs me a bit. Knowing that they don't match the rest of my Law forces, but with these guys I wrote down the paints I use, so from here going forward, I guess all my cops are gonna look a little bit darker, I guess is the difference. So nothing too much to say. They painted up real easy. The sculpts weren't too bad, so there's nothing I had to finagle myself just through the paint job. I'm happy with how they turned out. They're not spectacular, but I'm not a spectacular painter to begin with. I just want my stuff to look semi-decent on the table, and I think I achieved that. So with that, I guess thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video. It should be a bat rep. As always, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where all the people in Canhammer will do posts of, you know, the things we're working on or cool things we find related to the miniature hobby world. If you like miniatures but don't like spending full price, be sure to check out the Multiverse Gaming website. With using the discount code CANHAMMER, you get 15% off all Batman miniatures and Games Workshop products. Also a shout out to the Boy Wonders podcast. They're a podcast out of Minnesota, I believe, talking about Batman and all the stuff like that. They're all pretty big tournament guys, so you'll probably get a little bit more tactical information than you would on my channel. And they just put out a really fun podcast, so check them out. And I guess we'll just see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.